Mike Allen always sounds like shit. So I bought the bringing a mic.
You always sound like shit. That's why I bought the mic.
It's slick.
Mike got the mic.
I didn't think you sounded like shit, but maybe I'm sounding really bad. I don't know.
No, you always sound like you're enunciating really well.
Yay!
Mike, look at the studio, Mac.
Oh,
look
wow.
at the studio.
We're at the studio. At the studio, bro.
So look at the studio.
Studio.
Studio. We're in the studio. We have some posters, some
Dude, this is pretty
motivational
awesome,
posters.
Yeah.
Toys,
It's kind of
little
crazy.
things.
I had to be honest.
And I was
Yeah,
saying,
I am,
at some
like,
point, I need to
blown
figure out where
away.
we are. Right now, we're in like a storage container in space. Anyway.
Dude, this is the most meta thing we've ever done.
It's the most meta thing anyone's ever done.
Yeah, seriously.
Dude, when I had the time to put the thumbnail of last week's podcast in the last shot of the visual radio, I was like, okay, we got something here, boys.
Dude, I keep thinking, I'm like,
And Ryan does not care. Ryan could not give a shit.
What? No,
that's
I
the
really
funniest part about
care.
it all is just Ryan somehow like gets it, but also still does not give a shit.
I care
at all.
so much.
It's
Keep
just like his
going.
level of enthusiasm will not go above a fucking 5.
What do you
It will only
mean?
stay at 5.
unless he's talking about something he likes, and then it gets
Yeah, unless
intense.
he's talking about fucking prepositions and juxtapositions and yeah.
Unless I'm
thing you
talking
like?
about prepositions.
Once he gets out the hardwood cover book, you know.
Oh, sorry.
really gets-
No, and protagonist.
Can we actually just stop what we're doing right now and take a detour into talking about the Schoolhouse Rock? I think that would be really helpful.
No, we can't. Economy of nothing.
Economy of nothing.
Oh, is this it? I think we
Yeah.
should try doing one. We got this. I cleaned up this entire storage container. If we could just do one nice one, like show off the action.
let's do
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Well, I think that
Ready?
it should be Mike Allen comes in first, and then he
Okay.
creates the bass line for the harmony, and then we stack the harmonies on top of it.
Yeah.
So what are we? What am I? I'm coming in on your what? Of? Am I coming on? Am I economy on your of?
No,
Am I
no,
economy
I think
on
it's
your of?
I go economy of nothing, and then Ryan goes economy of nothing, and then you go in and you go economy of nothing.
Yeah, it's like a
Oh, so
round,
this is
and
not-
I go
this is-
second.
This is
Economy
I'm
of
thinking
nothing,
of. I'm
economy
thinking of
of
singing
nothing,
in
economy of
River. I
nothing.
believe is what I was thinking of. Apologies.
No, it's basically once nothing starts to come out, you can like join in.
All right.
I'm going to 3, 2, 1 count us down. All right, 3, 2, 1. Economy of nothing.
Economy of nothing.
Economy of nothing. I couldn't do it.
Beautiful.
I'm sorry.
And scene.
Boom, boom, boom.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Economy of Nothing podcast, where you get to watch a show being made in real time. We're on season 29, I believe, now, and our made-up universe that exists all around us and everywhere. This could be the real-life universe. It could be a made-up one. We don't know. But what I can tell you is we're gonna start off the podcast talking to my two favorite co-hosts. The first one would be Ryan. We don't have a last name for Cheyenne.
Any similarities to the real world are purely coincidental.
That's true. And then we got Captain Tracy. He wears green and his hair is blonde. The original creator, writer, and director, and does most of the heavy lifting of the show. Mike Bedell, the crowd goes wild.
I'm so surprised. Did you not say genius? Was I not paying attention? Did you not give yourself the genius title?
I think genius is earned.
Oh, he just usually lists off like 25 things that he does, and this time he didn't do it. So I thought maybe.
Yeah, I know. Totally. I have this new mic, and I'm trying to focus on y'all. But anyways, the host, Mr. Green, aka Business Mike.
I need to hide myself. I can't be
the
looking
original Mr. Green, aka I forgot all my names, but Ryan called me a genius last episode. So everyone, let's find the time code on that, Mike, on the last episode, so we can call it out in future episodes.
I
Ryan called
guarantee
me a
it's
genius.
down there. I guarantee it's down there.
All right, and we always like to start out the podcast with something we like to call old business. And I'm going to be honest with you today, Mr. Green, aka Mike, business Mike, his wife was a wee bit late coming back from the ye old bar, and she almost fucked me here. So glad to be on, guys. With that said, I have not thought about anything of what we're going to talk about this, so I figure it's a great time to start with old business. Mike, what's the old business you want to talk about from last week's
Well,
episode?
first of all, old business. Thanks everyone for joining us. As always, old business. Thank you guys for doing it. Check out some of the videos and stuff on the YouTube from last week. There was some fun. I think we got some fun visuals and ideas out of the developing the board game, and I have actual ideas about it. And everyone should definitely go to. I have no idea which part of the economyofnothing.com. Definitely economyofnothing.com slash pay to lose, and you can check out the little flash game we made.
Yes, yes. It's a flash game based off this idea, and I've played it multiple times, and I can tell you that it's very economy of nothingish, and it's definitely worth a play. And it's a bit clever. Also, Mike, if people wanted to, see the stuff that we do, and maybe wanted to support us in any type of way, and you just I don't know, subscribe to get really cool stuff for everybody else. Where would they go to do that, Mike? Where would they do that at?
What a setup. This feels too professional. I don't know. Just live your life, people. But if you want to go to YouTube, Economy of Nothing, but see, now I can't do it, Mike. YouTube.com slash
What a nerd.
at Economy of Nothing, Patreon.com slash Economy of Nothing, and economyofnothing.com. Economyofnothing.com. And I can't remember
Where did you go? You
economyofnothing.com.
lost it all. You had a
I
flow.
lost
It's
it.
just like, I have to
Man,
remember
I
the
just
website that I made.
want
Oh my
to
God.
talk. I'm just so excited for the content club that I'm very
So
giddy.
what-
That's what I'm excited for. And I'm distracted by your shiny microphone, which I guess I will animate, Mike.
I think it's only right.
I mean,
I
can
have,
it be
like,
animated also as like a multicolored mouthpiece as well for Mr. Green? I don't know. I'm just thinking.
I would like to
Wow.
point out.
Oh,
and
Doc,
Mike,
yeah,
I'm gonna need you to get
you said that.
I'm gonna need you to get video playback of this. Ryan was doing weird things with his tongue whenever I pulled up my microphone and it was multicolor. He was very into it. Can we get that back on the playback? Kind of like the booger flick.
Y'all, this is crazy. First, they're making up boogers. Now they're making up tongues. I don't
Okay,
have a
there's
tongue,
something-
and no one has ever proved otherwise.
Okay, of everything I did last week, the thing I really liked the most is the super shitty AI animation of when I was trying to get it to like animate whatever Ryan was doing with the microphone. I don't think what Ryan was doing with the microphone was quite as funny as Mike did, but like having to listen to him over and over again and watch Ryan do it over and over again while I was trying to like figure out what I was going to do with it. Very funny. Anyways, if you should look at this stupid animation. I bet it's not funny to anyone in the world but me. Very funny.
All right, I got a fun little game. A fun little game today to start the episode out before whatever it is we're going to talk about. Mike. I'm going to ask Mike first, and then I want to ask Ryan. Mike, when you are finding moments of creativity that just you're finding it hard to figure out what it is that you want to like portray and whatever it is you're telling or creating, how do you clear your mind and get in that creative space?
I don't know. I don't really. That's an interesting question. What I really try and do is I try
And
not
be honest,
to clear
Mike.
my mind. No, I
Do you
try not
stop
to
at
clear
a
my mind.
gas station first, or on your way to the beach?
No. I try and get everything else that I have to get done out of the way, and then I focus. Right?
Okay,
like
what he's trying to say, viewers, is he goes and gets a gas station edible, and then they're very strong.
Oh, I was saying I was trying to give a serious
Mike,
answer to this question. But
I've lost
dare
my
me?
mind, Mike.
How dare me?
I figured out what's happening, and the economy of nothing comes to you in this grand universal brain opening. Like it's almost like he like did acid, but then like instead of being scared, it like everything connected. And then he called Ryan, and Ryan picked up the phone. And Ryan's initial thought was what?
And I said, "God damn, it's not early enough in the morning for this."
And that explains this
Literally.
show.
Have I lost my mind? What's the question?
I don't know.
It was about your creative process.
I'm just kind of fucking
Mike.
around. All right, what do you want to talk about? What honestly, I have no idea what this episode was about to be.
Well, you had homework, so that's concerning.
I know I had homework, and I totally forgot. What was my homework?
Fine. It was to watch your own episode of Scrubs.
Your episode of Scrubs. Can you at least discuss your episode of Scrubs?
Yes. Intro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you set up what we're doing?
No.
I can.
Okay, what do you think we're doing?
Audience?
I don't know, man. I'm
Audience?
just creative, dude.
Think about it like a book club audience, except we're not writing a book. We're working on a cartoon. So we're finding inspiration from other media sources that are not books. And in the spirit of that, we each pitched a different piece of media, 2 television shows, 1 sitcom, 1 music video animated cartoon, and 1 deep investigation into Mike's ethos and soul and presentation and aesthetic and speaking patterns and dialectic. The true, like, I will save this for the part when it comes up, but watching my first episode of Burn Notice ever, like, some people, I just want the audience to know this. Sometimes when people recommend a TV show to you, you think to yourself, like, wow, that's interesting. That's a piece of media that I might see. What a weird quirk of a person. But in this example, it was like watching the inner depths of Mike's soul bared out for me to see. The way he speaks, the way he acts, the way he thinks. And I just said, God damn it, I'm never watching a fucking episode of this again. I don't want to have anything further to do with Burn Notice.
Ryan, thank you for doing your homework, Ryan. I very much appreciate you doing your homework.
You were talking about the assignment?
Yes.
Yeah. He watched Burn Notice, and then he understood kind of what I'm trying to do with the show, and also he has searing criticisms of me as a character, but also he understands my morality a little bit more. Anyway,
see, this is
but it made me
ill. Why,
but he never wants to do an investigation into my life ever again.
That was the last episode of Burn Notice. I'll take as homework.
Okay, so can I set this up now that I'm in the groove here?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so
absolutely.
The idea last week was, or I guess 2 weeks ago, was like, okay, how do we like start having conversations about story and character and stuff? And the idea at first was like, oh, we'll do it purely through this show, but I think that like what became apparent very quick was that we want to touch on other things, and of course we're going to touch on other things. So let's start getting a common Bible of shows that we know. So at least we can go, if we're talking about 2 disparate things and we're disagreeing on them and we're disagreeing on the show, maybe we could wrap back around and be like, okay, let's think about this like the Kelso arc from Scrubs real quick. You know what I mean? And all 3 of us will know what we're talking about, except for Mike Allen, because it's the thing he decided that he didn't watch.
Listen.
One thing I will say, Ryan, is just that the original idea for this was like that once a week, each of us would bring like a show, like an episode of TV. So like one of the problems is this does feel like too much. I feel like this is too much to ask of people for a week. So I think we should either like all bring just like shorter clips, which I don't love, or we rotate around it. We get 40 minutes. So if it's your week, you can do like a full length show, right? But if you are all like, this week I really want to talk about something short, maybe the other person can be generous and be like, okay, I'll pick a shorter thing so that we're keeping it down. You know what I mean? So we don't do it crazy. What do you guys? But we don't have to think about it right now. We'll decide it at the end of this conversation.
I know what we should talk about.
Okay, the content club, Mike.
I think we should talk about AI Run Amok episode. I think that should be a fun episode. I just think AI has been always in the news, and it's just on everybody's mind. So let's talk about a AI that gets into a random Tamagotchi that Mr. Green finds on a planet. Yeah, that seems like it makes the most sense.
No, I think we should do the content club, Mike. I think you'll get it. I think Ryan gets it. I think this is the play.
All right. Well, I was just offering another option.
I know, but like,
if I'm being voted against, I understand. I am ill prepared. I understand.
I know.
And
I think you should vote. I think you should vote with me. That's all right. You know everything you need to know about Bird Notice. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. We're cool. Yeah,
okay.
Cool. Go ahead.
So
Make it
first thing you're gonna. Okay, producer in your ear mic. Okay, first thing you need to do, you need to set up that Ryan picked a clip from the Prince of Egypt, and then tell him to tell you a little bit about it, and then bring everyone in to discuss. All right, go.
Okay. All right, everyone. We're doing the Content of the Week Club, or of the Quarter Club, where each one of us gets to pick a TV show that we think has a really good character and story arc that is not seen in today's television, and kind of want to bring that into the world of Economy of Nothing and how those things translate. We're going to start off with Ryan, aka Cheyenne, aka Ryan with no last name. Go ahead and describe a little bit, but then pour your soul into it.
Yes, absolutely. I do want to point out that anyone can go to currently economyofnothing.com.co.uk.org.
I don't think that can they do. I don't think they can. I know I'm a genius, but I have no idea. I don't think that's true.
No, I'm just kidding. It's only it's only .com. It's only .com /
Should I get those though? You know, all
I don't know.
Money.
Do you want to have an international? If we want to have an international cohort, I think that we should think about it. Like, do you want Harry Styles to be able to access our content without a VPN? Maybe we need to look into.
I'd be shocked if you wasn't already listening.
Well, you can go to a .com all over the world. You're telling me Disney.com doesn't work in England?
Well, they do have different versions, honestly, but it doesn't matter. Okay.
No, we're on Spotify. Spotify is a European company.
Okay, perfect. Great. So just check us out
My
on Spotify.
website isn't on Spotify. Okay, Ryan. So the first thing I thought about the Prince of Egypt song that Ryan sent to me.
Yes,
and
in the
I'll
spirit
just get this out of the way.
Wow.
Of my thought.
Yeah.
I was surprised that he wasn't singing. Just to get on track, just to talk about it for a second.
So definitely. So per Mike Allen, thank you so much for that introduction to the Prince of Egypt. If people are not aware, the Prince of Egypt is a musical. It's among other things, but it's also a musical about Moses, who is in the Bible. And this is important because the world just named a new pope. I don't know if you've heard about that in the topical news, but Catholicism has never been at a more prominent point in our pop landscape. So I thought, why not return us to the Prince of Egypt? Where did it all start? Adam and Eve. But shortly thereafter,
the idea that Catholicism
Moses.
Has been popular.
Yeah, Catholicism is getting more and more popular by the day. So the Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'll take questions. Yeah.
No. This is a musical about Moses in the desert.
Yeah.
They're singing, but they're not singing.
No, they are singing. Mike is just talking mad shit. In the song that I played, in the song that I showed, that I wanted y'all to listen to, and that viewers can find everywhere on economyofnothing.uk/stash. They can in the video that it's showing, it's like his internal monologue is singing, but he's just running around the city. So it's not him like actively singing in the animation, but it is his internal.
I thought it would be more I was expecting a bit more Les Mis. I was expecting him to be like, "Oh, that I want," and he's like, as he was, because he was moving kind of musically, right? If you look away for a second and then look back, you expect him to, right? He was
bringing the drama
down like a man, like. They initially storyboarded that for him to be singing, and they ran out of time or money, is also another thought I had while I was watching.
Yes. Well, I also, when I was flying on a plane to London or back, I can't remember which, I watched the play version. They have a play version that only made it to the West End before the pandemic hit. So there are different versions of this musical performance where the man is singing out loud himself. But the thing to know, the reason why I wanted to present this song to the group for us to consider and discuss is that I think it gets at a lot of what I was talking about. I think Moses is a very familiar figure in popular culture, crazily.
Why sexual?
Yes, it's in the Prince of Egypt. In The Prince of Egypt, he's a very hot, very sexy, ready, strapping young man. He is the Prince of Egypt. He's rich. He's capable. He is charismatic. He is confident. And he is the chosen of God. And what happens is, at the climax, at the pinnacle of his princely achievements, of which he didn't earn anything, but he has all of the power and prestige in the world. He has all of the status that one would need. He is the future, like, king's brother of Egypt. He's not going to be in line to be king himself, but he's the second son, so he has, like, all of the privilege and advantage of his station without needing to take on the responsibilities of it.
Was a boy, yeah.
And what happens is that he's given everything he ever wanted, and in this song he's singing, it's called All I Ever Wanted, and he's like, all I ever wanted was to be like rich and famous and cool and hot and young and powerful, and he is all of these things, but he realizes, because he's the adopted son of a Jewish family who his parents tried to murder every Jewish young boy at the time of his birth, he realizes that all he ever wanted is not all he ever wanted. So I think that this is just like a really interesting / pivotal character moment for us to consider. Moving forward, I wanted it in our lexicon of thinking about how when a person achieves everything they want, like if they overthrow a nothing corporation, or if they become CEO of the nothing corporation, or if they have enough money to feed their orphan family on some planet, like what comes after that? Because this moment of Moses' story is when it kicks off his journey, where he leaves Egypt for the first time, goes into the desert, and discovers his calling to be God's chosen warrior and free the Jews of Egypt. So that's my pitch over the past, my monologue for the past 2 minutes describing why this was relevant.
I think the thing that I was thinking about as you were saying that, in regards to like the characters, and I think, Mike, this is probably something to think about Green as we go into like season 2, like when we have to give him something as he goes on, like when the captain like is like in retirement, he didn't like necessarily like want that, right? Though in backstory I've written before, like he's on, like, part of the reason he ends up on a beach planet is because he was on his way to the beach when he gets like taken up into like the distant future. Yeah, Mike, you got a question?
Oh, just whenever you're done, I'm ready to go.
No, go ahead. This is all nonsense. What's up?
Okay. So Ryan,
yeah,
I loved it in the sense of what I felt from the first part you said.
Yeah.
And the best way I can translate it is through a musical as well.
Wow.
If you
I'm
haven't
glad
seen
we're
it,
taking
What have I
this
done?
track.
Get me out of this table.
Let's keep going on
it's
this
one
way.
of my favorite musicals. It's got our boy Hugh Jackman.
No,
in it.
no. Okay, so he has a
Greatest Showman.
Tamagotchi. Wait, what were you talking about?
Yeah, it's The Greatest Showman.
this is
and
great.
There's
This is
that
great.
scene
This is
with the woman, and she's like,
Iconic.
you know, where they have her, and it's like, it's never enough for me, right? Like, but the whole thing leading up to that is
Exactly.
just like,
We could have chosen
you
this song
find
equally
yourself
well.
in this system that just keeps going, then you forget what it is that you make it there, and then you keep doing it, and you're like, why do I keep doing it? I've already made it here.
Yes.
And I just had that thought last night after I got laid. And it was,
okay.
I was in the
Brag
bathroom.
much.
I mean, I did a really good job too. I really gave it to her.
Yeah.
Mrs. Green was like, yeah. And I got done looking in the mirror,
crazy.
and I was looking pretty jacked. And like, and I was just like,
top of the world.
I just thought to myself, there's that Lil Wayne song from We're All Growing Up where it's like,
okay,
can we censor this part?
You want to say no?
Money, weed, and I was like, man, all of those things I have now. Like, I can have all those things now. And I grew up. I remember
just being
I was never gonna get that.
An adult. Yeah.
And now I have that, and it's not enough, Ryan. It's not enough.
It's not.
We gotta have our own show. And that's why we're
Yeah.
making the podcast.
Well, is that what
Because
you
it's
think
never
is
enough.
missing? Because the thing with
But if
the
all
thing,
you want is your own show, we're gonna get that, Mike, and then you're gonna want something more. You know what I mean? Already have bigger
Exactly,
goals
but
than
that
that.
is the economy of nothing in itself. That's
I know that's
capitalism
Mr.
in
Green's
itself.
problem. He's like, I'll win the game, I'll grab the thing, is like
It's never enough, right? And Mr.
mm,
Green's journey aligns with my own journey in life, and it's just like
totally.
finding that the peace through just being, happy. Which I think is what we're all searching for. I mean, some people
Mm,
find it in different things. Some people
yes.
use religion as a
some people
distraction, or
find
they
it in
think,
pussy, money, and
right,
weed or whatever. you know.
or some people like to put it in all these other things that they think make them happy, but realistically, it's only short term, like spontaneous happiness that is fleeting, right? But
Yeah.
then you have kids and that makes you happy, but then there's other
Mm,
things and that pulls you into the economy of nothing more. That just brings you
mm,
down. That like that's the layer to Mr. Green that y'all don't have from the character's point is like I
mm-hmm.
know it's bullshit, but I have to play it. And I'm trying to let you guys know that you
Yes.
don't have to play it. You can
Mm.
go to the beach and just do whatever. And the captain did that, and now the captain's still feeling the same thing. So the economy of nothing comes for us all, either because we
Yeah.
have to, or because you want purpose, or glorification, or validation, everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I have a few things to say about that. The first thing I think is that, yeah, like I just perceive this character moment of Moses to be, I mean, this is just like such a great musical and obviously story. It's been around for a really long time and it has a lot of like value to teach us. So I think that that's one thing itself. And I think that, per what you said, Mike, the captain's version of this already happened in a way where like he became the savior of the universe and he realized kind of through like the Mississippi splitting off of the timelines that like what he wanted like the point of the song is like all I ever wanted is not what you actually want. And I think that when people discuss that as like a character trope and motivation, I think what they're really getting at is that like the beginnings of a story are about change. And everyone goes through that in their own life. So it's just like a broader scale of change that people are expecting to be dramatized in their stories. So I think that that is one version of what I'm
Well,
thinking in response to
certainly, and
Moses's.
as Mike Allen has left the shipping container here.
No one needed to
I
know. Maybe he just needed to
Well,
use
they
the
they
loo.
could have know, but maybe he did. They well, I mean, so many stories are the same story, right? But obviously, like when you
Yeah.
think about Moses, and I haven't seen this particular movie. I just only watch a clip. I haven't seen the particular movie in forever. But
I'll
I've
have
seen.
you watch it
But I'm
one
very
2 minute clip at a time, like.
yeah, I'm very.
Just
But
kidding.
like I'm very familiar with
Yeah, of course.
the
The story
story of
is
Moses and.
one of the
But yeah,
most
I
famous in the
think
world.
there's something going on there with obviously Mr. Green and Ramses, and of course there's stuff going on with the captain. Not necessarily that he wanted this, but certainly like the captain wanted to be like a hero or something. Like because everyone wants to,
Hmm.
or some people want to be a hero. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
like that's why his nephews would have liked like heroes and stuff because they're from like the same time period. So that's why when they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you were a space hero," he's like, "Oh yeah, I am a space. Yeah, I'm a space hero. Yeah, I am a space hero. Sure. What do they do now? Wait, it runs
Yeah.
like this. This is how it ran where I'm from. This things. You know
Well,
what I
but
mean? Like,
this is other things I have to say. I'm not saying that I think of the captain exclusively as like a Moses allegory because I really
no,
don't.
no, it's good because it keeps going, and I think like if you think
No.
about like the first four seasons of the show, there's like
Yeah.
arcs of Moses in there, right?
Well,
Like,
but what I want to say about this musical because this musical, I feel like there are certain songs that speak to like my soul in a really deep way that I didn't know about. You know, sometimes you find a song that perfectly expresses what you are feeling and it resonates with you in a really deep way. I think that there are certain songs where I look at this singer and I'm thinking to myself like, "Oh, you just invented emotions." Period. Like there are three that I can name off the top of my head. Adele has a song called Someone Like You, and she invented this feeling of like longing for a person who's gone, who you can't get back, so you'll search for another version of them in your life. Labyrinth has a song called Jealous, where he says, I'm jealous. He's speaking to like this ex who he's let go and thought that would come back to them. Like, release the butterfly from your hand, and if it loves you, it'll stay, or whatever. So he lets go of the butterfly and it flies away and he never sees it again. Essentially, is like the idea. He lets go of this person and is like, I'm jealous of the rain that falls upon your skin. It's closer than I could be, like, have been. Anyway, my other point about talking about Moses is a third song that I think encompasses this is the Broadway or West End musical of The Prince of Egypt has a song for Moses where he laments the damage that he's done to the people of Egypt. Because for people who aren't familiar with the story, the miracle of God, of the Lord, that convinces the Pharaoh to let the Jews leave is murdering all of their children, all of these like Egyptian children, all of their firstborn sons.
All the firstborns, the people who didn't put the lamb's blood over
of the lamb's blood. Exactly.
Why didn't they put the lamb's? Is that in this?
No. So in the animated version, it's not there, but in the West End, in the Broadway version, Moses sings that Moses himself, and this is like per the captain, which I think is really compelling as a character idea, is that Moses is like singing to God about what God has done to him, Moses, the human being, because he was like,
right.
You have divine righteousness, you have certainty, but like for the rest of my life, I have to live with this. Like, I'm going to be a human being, and I'm going to live to be 900 or whatever Moses lives to be. And he says, I have to accept the fact that as your vessel, or per the captain, like as the champion of the robo-human war, I had to like genocide people. Or, like how accurate is that? Like what lives on? And I think there are just these moments in this musical, per what I said about the captain, where it's like, oh, I think... And weirdly, when you describe the captain to me, I think of Moses as like, or of this musical as having and containing elements of like similarity through the story.
Yeah, and I think that when reading the captain, like I guess to like read the captain as Moses, just like writ large, like to think of a moment. I kind of think of the moment of like when Moses watches it, like I think in the Ten Commandments movie when he was watching everyone leave and he's like watching them go, and it's kind of like a sad moment but a triumphant moment, right? Mm-hmm. And I think like that's like what the captain wants, right? The captain wants to like be like, okay, you guys can just go to this world and now I can be left alone. Like
So maybe in like the captain's ideal reality, I mean, Moses, I don't know what he would have chosen, but Moses parts the Red Sea and then he goes with his people. Do you think of the captain as like well, but do you think of the captain as parting the Red Sea and then like not staying in like with the economy of nothing world or whatever, because like the army is coming, the Egyptian army, not to like kill him, but he's like whisked away. I mean,
when we talk about specific moments and in the arcs, right? Like the question is like, I guess in that moment, I guess parting the Red Sea, there has to be this moment they part the Red Sea and they close it on the army. They like defeat, the Nothing Corporation, and then it's like, oh crap, now we're in the desert, right? Like and so that is the end of season 1 or season 2, depending how we play everything out, right? Of like, oh, we did the thing. Shit, there's a lot more work to do. We have to walk for a long time. And like people that came with us this far that even saw that happen might turn on us despite the success of that. Like, and again, that's another strain on the captain because he saved the universe once. And then at some point he's going to part the Red Sea. And then people are going to be in the desert mad at him. And he's going to be like, are you fucking people kidding me? Like,
Right.
how much do I have to do for you to give me a break? Does someone else want to lead this party through the desert? Because I'm here, Cheyenne, where are you? Are you still back there bothering me about this? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think that is an interesting comparison point as well, because I think that there's this like reading of there's a reading of the human condition, of a human condition, where people like seek authority over them, that's like the dictatorship.
Where were we on child murder?
We were just talking about how the Egyptians were doing
Mike,
it,
hang up
actually.
your phone call before you come back on, please.
What? We weren't talking about child murder at all. What do you mean? No, I think
God, man. I just walked by while I was getting medicine for my son, and I heard like,
Father!
when
New award for the podcast, Father of the Year award.
Infant babies were slaughtered to like God or something in Egypt times or something. One of those Bible stories.
Mike, bring it to the Pope. It has nothing to do. I wasn't the one who made it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I think that there is an interesting like the story of Moses might be interesting to think about where the captain ends up afterwards.
We're talking about Moses on a podcast. That's just
okay.
Crazy. But I would ever do that.
Mike, you know what's gonna be? You know what's gonna.
Like, that's just like I never thought in a million years I'd be talking about Moses on any podcast.
But Moses has a lot to teach you. Moses has a lot to teach you, and I'm interested in you being a convert.
Teach you, just maybe not what they.
First off, I know all the stories. Not as good as you Catholics, but I mean, you want to go down that rabbit hole, we can go down that rabbit hole.
Well, no, but one of the things I mentioned while you were off was that Moses, and I'm about to transition directly into your situation. Don't worry, with Scrubs.
Bring up a cartoon.
No. I think that Moses. Well, there's a story. There's a song that they add about Moses where he has to deal with the consequences.
Moses, one more time. Moses.
Okay.
Moses.
That's how his brother Aaron felt. He was like, Moses.
Do you think Moses, whenever God was like, yo, dude, I'm gonna kill everybody, I need you to build the world's greatest fucking biggest ship with all the animals 2x2.
I don't think he ever said
I need you to go do this. Do you think that he was like,
yeah, that happened to Moses.
What? Like, what, dude? What? This? Yeah, no, what? That sounds like a lot of work, dude.
That's Noah. Noah does the ark. Moses parts the water. Noah does the ark.
Yeah, that's right.
Abraham tries to sacrifice his son. Cain and Abel killing each other. Who else? Who are the other big timers?
Who's
on your Mount Rushmore of the Bible? Leave a comment below.
Paul and Cain. No, Abel and Cain. There's a supernatural pair.
I wish it was Paul and Cain.
Yeah, Cain and Abel. No, Cain and Abel are them.
It's Dean and
Sam
Winchester and the other Winchester from Supernatural.
Dean and Sam. Yeah.
Have you ever actually watched Supernatural? God. Because Dean does get the mark of Cain. By the way, in that show. He gets the mark of Cain. Cain is like Supernatural. I go, you want to get some nerdy on some Supernatural references of how like it coincides religion with like all the religions and stuff. Great show. Oh, honestly, and we should have them on.
Why no? Now he's gonna try and now you're gonna come in a little bit defending Burn Notice, and I'm gonna be like, and this guy just said, oh my god. Okay.
And I think
actually, I have something Burn Notice to Jason.
This leads us perfectly into the episode of Scrubs that we all watched this week.
Okay, but
with Dr. Kelso.
I didn't watch.
But you've seen it, right? You've seen it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so Dr. Kelso. Yeah. Okay, so
give us the
interior. Basically, the whole episode of Scrubs is JD's walking around talking in his own head, thinking about how life is, and he's not sure. Yada yada yada. Here we go. Is there sound? There's no sound. Okay. They walk into a game of 1v4 wheelchair playoffs. There's
what is happening?
Comedic like things happening. JD's riding the
Okay, Mike,
wheelchair to the
are you
elevator.
gonna try and do are you just gonna describe what's happening in the show like scene by scene? Is that and Ryan, are you
I don't
moving
remember
around?
all the
What's going
lines,
on right
dude.
now?
I
This is maddening.
really just I
Yeah,
could have
I'm
done
moving
it better
around. Sorry.
without the video. No,
Oh,
sorry, the video was distracting me.
okay. All right. Well, I was the
Just
first
give
thing
us
I
the
was gonna
synopsis.
I'll
give,
just give you the synopsis.
okay.
I won't give you the synopsis.
All
And
right,
what is
Ryan,
my
is Ryan?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay, okay.
AI run amok.
Okay.
No,
So
so
the name. So can I just say the name of the episode?
I would love for you to save the name of the episode.
Okay. So the name of the episode we're gonna talk about right now is season 5, episode 4 of Scrubs, My Jiggly Ball. It was hard to find. There were like two other episodes that like fit the description so well. And they're in the catalog of, well, we'll have to look at these episodes so that we can talk about Kelso's arc and how it's represented over the seasons. Anyway, Mike, let's talk about it. Jiggly
Yes.
Ball. Do you know about it? The orderlies play all the time.
Yeah, which is a fake game that the janitor makes up to trick JD into thinking Jiggly Ball is a real game. JD obviously lies and he's like, I play Jiggly Ball all the time. He leads him up to play it, and turns out Jiggly Ball is just a firing squad of everybody firing tennis balls at JD in like the break room part. All right, I think that's how it opens, and then it's like, I'm no Superman. Blah, 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 blah. All right, and then the whole episode, I believe, is JD trying to help somebody that doesn't have insurance. And then that turns into Dr. Cox telling that JD can't do that, but then secretly Dr. Cox is trying to save the dude without insurance because he puts him as a stiff, which means it's a dead guy. You charge a dead guy's insurance, which is a way you'd circumvent in the economy of nothing as it relates to the episode. But then Dr. Kelso finds out what Dr. Cox is doing, and Dr. Kelso kicks him out. And Dr. Cox thinks that Dr. Kelso is an asshole and he's heartless and he's gutless. And that's basically the whole episode. It's just portrayed in Dr. Kelso as this very, very bad person that only cares about money and running the business. And they say a reference in it that every time his foot hits the threshold out of this hospital, that all of it goes away and he just starts whistling and goes home and doesn't think about it. And after that big one thing that happened where he had to kick this guy out for not having insurance, at the end one, then that one song plays by the artist I can't remember, but it goes like this. It's like, these feelings won't go away. They be knocking me sideways. Right? And his foot hits it and it doesn't, Dr. Kelso doesn't go away. It lingers. And I think from just, I don't know who the bad guy, the overarching bad guy or our main villain is. Maybe I personally think as this evolves, since we're all the characters will all have our own kind of villain in this show. But I think one of those villains should be what everyone thinks is a villain, like Dr. Cox. But it's really just him doing the best he can. Because in the economy of nothing, right? Like the captain always says, doing nothing is the problem, right? You could argue in this sense, this guy's doing something. He might not be doing it the right way, but he's doing it the way that he thinks that he can help, right? In some form or fashion. In that instance, it was running the business that helps save lives. And sometimes that comes with letting people die.
Yeah, my only.
You know?
I mean, honestly, everybody give a round of applause for Mike Allen remembering this after. I don't know when the last time you watched the show was. Crazy. The only.
All of a sudden, I just like blacked out. What happened?
Literally. No, the only little detail is that there's a patient that has like a rare condition that they're trying to get into like a clinical trial in the hospital, but then there's a different patient who's giga rich that also has the rare condition. So then they swap out the poor guy with no insurance for the rich guy. And then Dr. Kelso says, well, I can reopen the prenatal unit if I give it to this rich guy. So exactly what you said, like it's like this person within the system who is doing something. And like, in a sense, there's a version of this argument where he's doing the right thing. Like, that enables Dr. Cox and JD to have like a moral righteousness, like an individuated correctness, but he's like the correctness of playing with the system of healthcare in America, blah blah blah. Like people already know. So
Yeah, that's what it relates to. It could be America. It could be anywhere.
or it could be the distant,
probably-
far off future. Who knows?
It's, I would say. I didn't really understand. I understood exactly what you're talking about, and then you said America, and it confused me for a second. But
forget
I'm
about
back
that.
on board. I'm back on board. Okay. No, I do like. I'll tell you
great.
what kept happening. It took me forever to like remember which episode it was because like I kept putting it on, and then I'm just like watching Scrubs, and then I'm just in Scrubs, and I'm just like, here I am. Hello, Scrubs. How's it going? Pretty good. Still a little homophobic, but what are you gonna do? But
Scrubs is really good. It's actually I watched a video essay about this, how it's really not homophobic, but there are a few like flashes of homophobia that they address like in the show with Turk and
we
JD,
didn't go to season 1 of Bird Notice for a reason.
I'm not watching another episode.
It was
of Bird Notice. You would want
2011.
chance. No, but like not to get far away from Scrubs, I think it was a really compelling point that you brought up, Mike Allen, about like Kelso and this kind of figure, and where does this figure exist in the economy of nothing? I think it's a really important question to ask. And like, is that character Mr. Green, or is it Mr. Green's mentor, or is it Cheyenne, or is it Cheyenne's mentor, or is it Mississippi? Like, I don't know who this figure is, but it's like, I think a really compelling, because the thing that's so important about Dr. Cox or Dr. Kelso is that like Dr. Cox can't exist without Dr. Kelso. You know, like JD can't exist without Dr. Kelso, really, because otherwise you're in like we Americans watching Scrubs, nothing to do with the economy of nothing, are like, oh, this is a fantasy world where doctors just don't have bills to pay, and like a hospital is just like a bottomless pit of money. And I think that it makes it like so tactile and like biting what happens with these other characters.
I think I loved everything you said, and thank you so much for that little detail blurb because it added so much context to and as soon as you said it, I'm like, it all came rushing back. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah. But just one thing to twist at what you said. The reason that I think it cannot be our characters is because it just can't be. There's always someone higher than you that in your life that it maybe at some point in time or all the time or not yet, right? You look at that person like they're the bad guy. Like someone is always the bad guy in your story, and they don't even know that you know what I'm saying? They don't know that you're their bad guy.
Yes.
And I think and then I think that turn happens that we just talked about, that whole how it happens in Scrubs, right? Like these things can't exist. It's like it's that awareness is that what hits, and then that's what I think that's what brings other people into the crew. Maybe not permanently, but for like episodes in the future, because it's like you're gonna constantly need that to flow in new characters, right?
Yeah,
like side stories and quests, right? And I think that's a good way of like doing it. Is like that's why I think we should create a CEO of the Nothing Corporation as a character,
yeah,
right? And then like. We should, in that way, it gives us all these moments leading up to moments of where it's like, Mike, you're familiar with comics. Every time there's like a Superman Lex Luthor reference, like that could do a lot of cool things with that, or a Batman versus Joker type of situation. It's like, which I think Batman versus Joker is great when it's like you can't exist without me, and even so, that's kind of this show, right? Like we couldn't create this super nuanced,
Well, also
what's
there's
a good word?
Well, there's this like really nuanced dynamic of it, but in Scrubs, the thing that's interesting about the Economy of Nothing show, like as a totality, is that in the show, the corporation is like the dictating authority or like the entity that decides things. So like in Scrubs, if in Scrubs the thing above Dr. Kelso is like capitalism or the healthcare system,
board, I guess.
the American well there's the board with Jordan, I guess maybe that's a different episode
Yeah.
that we can talk about. But there's forces outside of him, like a prenatal unit that needs to be funded that he
Okay.
has to choose the funding for. So there's like this external force upon him, and I think we can ask ourselves in the economy of nothing: is there an external force against the Nothing Corporation, or
I
is it
think
that the
So
CEO
can
is
can I say something real quick?
capitalism?
Is I
No, I think Mike Allen and I are really vibing.
we're
Okay.
vibing here.
No,
I
Go,
think
go,
and
go,
like
go,
I
go.
think no, the thing I want to say about your vibe in like the way it goes into
Yeah,
the
of
economy of
course.
nothing is I think like if you're thinking about hero and villain, you're kind of going in the wrong direction because I think I think I said last week like would they have done things the same if they had known where they wanted to be at the end of season 9, right? Which is that they didn't want Kelso to have ever been a villain. But if you go back to like season 1, he's doing stuff that's like irredeemable. To the point being no, but just to my point being real quick is that like so if you think about them as like characters in the show and not as heroes and villains, they are a very good place for Cheyenne and Mr. Green to think about as a Dr. Cox and a Dr. Kelso. Mike
Yeah.
Allen, your hands
And if you
vibrating.
would just like, there's a saying right now that the kids find made cool, Mike, and it's called "Let them cook." And if you would have let me cook just a little bit longer, I was about to get there to make it make sense to the economy. And what I was going to say is the CEO of the Nothing Corporation should be
Yeah.
the perceived bad guy, right?
Mhm.
And just like a Dr. Kelso would be. And
Mhm.
then where well, who's the big bad above him? I don't think it's the board of directors, but it's the universal, like
Yeah.
the universe board of directors, and maybe that could lead to like some really cool, like maybe there's 13 board of directors and they control all the universe, and they like one of them lives on a fucking dragon planet, and the other one lives
Mm.
on, you know, um, you know, like an Aquaman planet, like under the sea type of stuff, and they all are part of it because they control all the resources, and that's why the economy of nothing exists, and then that's how the CEO of the Nothing Corporation becomes our Dr. Kelso, and he helps us appeal to the board, and by appealing to the board in this sense, of the economy of nothing can either be we can do more economy of nothing business type shit, or we can turn it into as like some super sci-fi fantasy, like all of a sudden we're like upgraded like Power Rangers kicking butt. And Mike, what do you got to add on? Great
Yeah,
idea. I know. Thanks, bud.
I think that bounces really well
I
with
agree.
the Moses talk we were having. Just right there. We're talking when we were talking about the moments of impact and like characters that can like define those moments and uh, like sea changes like when something changes about the company. Anyway, I think yeah, no, this is good. This is good stuff. I don't know why I said anything.
No,
I
I
apologize
completely
for
agree.
speaking.
But to me, it's a matter of incentive. Like, I think that we all currently exist in a world of incentives, and Dr. Cox exists in a world of incentives. And, like, Kelso to me is a person who accepts the incentive structure that's placed upon him and knows that, like, without his being the bad guy, there are other episodes where this is covered, whatever, we can get into them. Like, Dr. Cox can't be a good guy and, like, help one patient if Dr.
Even
Kelso
tells them that
doesn't.
in like a later episode. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like if he doesn't reopen the prenatal unit, then like Dr. Cox can't be the hero in the prenatal unit next week, like in next week's episode. So I do think that it's a really important question for us to consider of like where this type of character is placed because in my view, we can have a character that has the incentives of the economy forced upon them, and then like who is the big bad? I think it's either like, well, do we want to make the economy of nothing's villain like the incentive of greed, which is the Marxist in me,
Like, yeah, and
or
I
is it
think
like
yeah.
dramatized in an individual person, or is it just like an algorithm? Like if they fight through every floor of the Nothing Corporation and at the head, like they get to the boardroom and they kill all of the boardroom members, and then like there's a secret door that unlocks, and like what's behind that door? Like is it because you can't defeat Dr. Kelso? They're just going to replace him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or
Yeah,
Dr.
it's the Matrix,
Cox
dude.
becomes Dr. Kelso, I think, and then he has to deal with like funding bullshit. And him and Dr.
Right.
They
And
have
he
like
has
a
to make the
talk over
same
coffee.
decision. I think the
Exactly. I think
natural
like what's behind
progression
the
of
secret door?
well, I think the natural progression was behind anyone in a financial sense, like right, like you're either moving up the chain of a corporate ladder for whatever reason, but those main reasons are either you want more money you have some desire for more status,
Mm-hmm.
and then possibly
Inertia.
yeah, I mean
You
the
just keep
ego,
going.
right? Like all
Yeah.
that stuff. But the point is just like I think with this character, it's the exact same way it plays out on Scrubs. It's like it builds up to the point where then like maybe Captain Tracy is the person that becomes the new Dr. Cox for like the next season, and maybe something happens there. I don't know. But I think that in general, that person at the top would always be they would flip because I think it's the weight of the impact of all these decisions having on their like moral code and how it like wears them down. Not to the sense that like they definitely feel bad about it, but I think they would get to a point where they wouldn't even want to do it anymore. Kind of like how Frank
Mm-hmm.
Reynolds is on Always Sunny. He's like, I just want to live unhinged, right? Like I don't think it has to be a super sad thing. I get
Yeah.
there's like just complete burnout of like these
Mm-hmm.
high value decisions, lives at risk all the time. And then I think that
Mm.
would be an interesting way to play like a billionaire character that also could like open up our resources as a team
Mm.
and like that could really like fund it better. And then it's like, okay, we're now we're the economy and nothing crew that we literally just saved the day. We don't even have to worry about credits. Maybe
Holy
that happens
shit.
like season 3 or 4. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's really
But I mean, that
great.
every show has that arc. They always bring in someone who's super rich that could finance stuff because it makes writing easier from a creative sense. At some point, I'm not saying we do it right from the
Yeah.
beginning. I'm saying
No,
that we save
totally.
that.
And I think
Yeah.
you like I think the character
Hold on,
dynamic you brought up. Well,
Mike
I
just
feel
got a
like
brain
he's
over
like
here.
had a huge revelation, and I just want to point out that I think like Dr. Cox and Kelso are both like iterations of the captain of like doing the right thing that I think is really like
Yeah.
fruitful.
Wow.
Mike just freaked
No,
out.
I just
So
I hadn't no, this really could be nothing. I just like I hadn't thought of Mr. Green as like the business guy in that way. As like, oh,
finding
Mr. Green, like
supporters
when the
or
captain
patrons.
starts doing well, like all of a sudden Mr. Green's like, oh, here's the way we can monetize outside of the original plan, right? And I don't just all of a sudden in my brain, like there's Green with there's like Green, and it's like have either of you seen Mystery Men,
Yes.
the movie? At the very beginning, the guy who has like all like the logos on his superhero suit, almost like he's a NASCAR driver. And I didn't quite think about that, but I was thinking about like the moonshine as like an Indy truck. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, Green would really the captain would not want to do this. Like what when we're talking about incentive, right? What
Yeah.
incentive does the captain have to go along with putting a big logo on the front of his? He's not gonna want to put a big logo, but like I see
I
it,
think
right?
that
And it's
I think
like this
Mr.
is a
Green would do
paradigm
that.
shift of like to get to
Yeah.
the next level, to get them across the desert, right? The captain will have to do things that like he doesn't want to do right now. That theoretically, who cares? It's just a sponsorship. People are gonna buy stuff anyway. Cap, like da da da. Da, you know what I mean? Like, but like the
Yeah, and
cap doesn't
besides, they
want to
already signed
fall
a
into the
contract.
apathy of the other people at the top, right? Or something like
Right,
that.
and I wouldn't even ask you. I would just sign contracts, and, like, I would forge your signature to put it on the car.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I think and you'd be like, "What?" Like, I think randomly throughout time, like, new little logos start popping up,
Yeah.
and
He'd be
maybe they
quote
could be
unquote
in
teaching
universe or
Eric
out of
how to
universe,
do like
right?
the mechanics on the. He's like, oh, I'm teaching him like ship mechanics, right? Because like Green's the pilot and the mechanic. But like while he's doing it, he's like, and this is where we put our trademarked carburetor or whatever, something like that, right? Like as like a
Yeah,
sly way of
I'll be like,
like,
"This is where we put, Wounded Warrior Project," right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like
Because
we
we
would
also
we
have to
would
have philanthropy, which we can
yeah.
we only have to give away 10% to charity. So,
If we get the new warp muffler, we can
That
get
is
to
so
the
deranged.
we can get to the distress calls faster, and it has to be the Bobby Flay one or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't
I
know
mean
why
that
Bobby Flay was in
I
my
think that's
mind.
so easy to visually do too, because I think that like yeah, in my opinion, any planet we go to, Mr. Green could be like, got another sponsorship or whatever, and like. Would it be too unhinged? I actually think that this is a bad idea as I'm saying it, but like maybe one of his little trinket like bobbleheads is like sponsored, and maybe that makes Mr. Green realize that it's gone too far because he always wants these fun little trinkets, but like it's been like when that's been commodified too, his little trinket search, that's like taking it too far. But I think this is such a perfect idea where you could just have like the bottom of the car be plastered with like merchandising deals, and the captain never looks under the car because he's like, they're traveling through space.
But the people would
so the
always
captain,
see it when he
exactly
flies over.
because they're flying over them. So like whenever they land, they're like, "Oh wow, you're sponsored by like whatever Michelin." And Mr. Green's like, "Wait, what are you talking about? Why would you like? Who cares? This guy's crazy." And the captain's like, "What the fuck?" And then eventually, after a few episodes, it's just like the bottom of the car that he's worked on with one of the kids. They're like, "Yeah, we just like put stickers everywhere or whatever."
Yeah, he does. He does
like
like a classy. He does the classic captain like jump from the moonshine to like a skull pirate ship, like throw the skull pirate out, crash it into another one, flip back in, and he lands and kind of falls, and he's like, "The ship's off. Wait, what's going on?" It's like all the stickers on the bottom are dragging it down.
Yeah, I think it would be like really visual and really freewheeling.
Yeah.
Which of course leads us
Really
perfectly
really
into
fun.
a car. The cars are so useful in media because cars can also save lives. Like if you are if you're on a second story building and you try to open a door and it explodes on you. This is in the previously on, obviously, because who the fuck has time to watch Burn Notice? But then the room
Did
explodes.
I pick an episode with a good previously on, or did I not?
You did.
Can I lead you into Burn Notice, Mike?
Yeah, this is a
What-
perfect segue. Cars.
Sorry,
I
where-
would love to lead you in with something Burn Notice adjacent.
Oh no! Oh, I thought he was. I figured that's what he was doing. I'd love for one of you to recap the episode of Burn Notice. That'd be incredible.
Well, I would just. I watched a movie last night called Villains, and one of the main characters in the movie is
Not enough so
the Michael Weston actor, whoever his name is, and he plays. He plays a really good like. Oh man, Mike, you really got to watch it because I just kept thinking
Villains.
about Burn Notice the whole time. But like, I will say the guy has perfected his craft. He's very believable as like a 1950s like killer, but also a salesman. And I just think from like a Mr. Green type sense, like I think you'd find some inspiration there, and from like a Burn Notice, wow, this is Michael Weston giving his best Burn Notice impressions throughout the film. It just really works, and I would love to hear about your Burn Notice episode now.
Do you want to describe it,
Ryan-
Mike?
Oh, Ryan, no, Ryan. I feel like you, Ryan. I want you to describe it because I'd love to hear what you think happened. Right? Like, do you know what I mean? Because you don't know.
Yeah,
Because
totally.
I do think I picked an episode that has like I'm sure this was like a mid-season break and they were coming back. They were behind a better show. It has a good like lead in. I think you're up to speed pretty quick on what's happening. But anyway, you tell me.
All right,
Ryan.
go Ryan.
He's invincible from falling from an explosion.
Okay.
We know this from the start of the show.
Yeah, so what happens is it does feel like there was like 9 episodes in the first half of the season, and then they're coming back for the back half of the episode 10 through 22, and this is episode 11 after they've done a kind of dramatic reveal. So the main character, also named Mike, I'm getting fucking sick of all these mics around me. Okay, Michael the Archangel as well with the new Pope. It's just, when does it stop? So this guy is a spy, okay, everyone? And he turns the doorknob to some sleazy motel. It explodes on him because he's a spy that's been burned. And being burned means
When
that
you're a spy.
you have an enemy. It's like having a really nasty ex that wants you dead, except they're also a spy, so they're making it happen. Okay? So this guy is walking around. He's running through the streets of Miami because he's being attacked, and all he has to help him is the guy from like some zombie movie or some shit. I know him from Xena Warrior Princess. He's Autolycus. He's a mustache. He's a badass. So they're walking through the streets of Miami trying to find safe haven. And this guy is such a good guy. This Mike is that he's on high alert because there's a bunch of villains out to try to murder his ass. But he sees someone trying to walk into the street, and his spy senses alert him that this man is trying to kill himself. He steps in, saves the guy from being hit by a bus. It turns out the man has a devastating sob story. His son has a terminal illness, very sick. They're seeking treatment, and he tried to buy treatment, but he was fooled by a vixen, by a harlot who is doing a scam, as we come to find out. This woman is running a scam where she promises to cure terminally ill children of stuff, but she's a liar. She takes her money and she runs. So this episode, while there's all the seasonal background drama, is about our main character, Mike, being an absolute fucking hero in every sense of the word and saving this child, getting the money back so that they can try to find real treatment. Because the worst thing you can do is nothing. And on the way, he comes across a bunch of hot women who are kind of his girlfriends, kind of his ex-girlfriend. They're in a polyamorous relationship. It's extremely confusing. There's no context given. His friend is also like about to be a murderer at any point. They're willing to do anything it takes. And when you listen to this man talk, especially in his head, when you hear this Mike talk in his head, you will hear Mike Bedont speaking in your head as well. It's a fucking disaster. It's a nightmare to listen. Like, if you wonder where Mike learned how to speak, you will watch Burn Notice and you will understand where he got it all from. That is my synopsis.
Is
of
this
this
true?
fucking show.
You said this earlier before you got on the call. Do I sound like Michael Weston when I talk?
The way it's disgusting.
When
Yeah,
you're a
go ahead.
spy, you go and do
It's worse
things.
when he goes on a bender. When he goes on a bender, he'll literally start the dialogue when you're a spy, but he'll say it like when you're working at the gas station, or like it's just like whatever he's talking about, he will throw it in there, like, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
No, literally.
here comes another exposition,
Like,
from
exactly.
this show.
Wait, do I
Exactly, it's
start
like-
sentences? So what you're saying is I start sentences with the word "when" a lot. Is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
No,
Yeah.
it's like the
when
vocal,
you're smart like me.
the vocal patterns
pretty
of the
much.
first 10 sentences of a Michael, whatever this guy's name is, inner monologue while he's talking about how he's been burned is you talking about how you've been burned about anything. It's so disgusting. It's crazy how I heard this.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this is that I would always watch Scrubs and think like I feel like JD's monologue is a lot of my monologue, like
Mhm.
not like a little less goofy, but like it still has that fun, goofy, like a
Yes,
type
exactly.
to it. And I feel like Michael Weston's monologue in this is how Mike
Yes.
Bedont's mind works. Like I think
Yes,
that's
exactly. That's
what he-
exactly
I've
what I
never
mean.
thought about. I mean,
There's-
I've like
no,
watched
there's a
it all again.
parallel.
I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
Like that.
No, there is a
don't know.
parallel. There is a synergy, and it made me realize.
I mean,
that
I
my
do
monologue,
like look around when I'm places and see what's up and what I could do. I don't know.
I think he's
Don't other people,
analyzing
like-
a lot.
I'm going to send my next clip that we all have to watch is going to be a monologue from the narrator of Hunter x Hunter, which is an anime that I love, my favorite anime, that I think is defining of my character, like my own personality in some ways.
Okay.
We have to when I heard this guy talking about like a spy being burned, like when I tell you that I had to pause it and come back to it a different day because I was rocked by Mike Bedont's internal monologue, it was disgusting.
I know, dude. It's rough sometimes. I have a hard time going back, and I'm like, I know why you like this show. Like, I know
Literally.
why you love it. Like, I
Literally.
know why
Do
you
you
like
think-
it more than I do. You know, like,
So
I
my
know,
question,
like, it
I guess
shaped
my
it.
All
my
of his
question
pitches
was-
make sense.
Yeah.
But my question is, but just before we'll get into it in 1 second. Just if we could analyze me a little bit, because it's everything. It's the economy, nothing, baby. But
Yeah, I would love to.
Mike, do you think I was like this before I saw Burn Notice? Do you think I modeled Ryan seems like I modeled myself after Michael Weston, which I'd like to know.
I
whether you
agree.
think-
Yeah.
But in all fairness, like in Grand Theft Auto Online, I had the Michael Weston car. So I mean, it's not like I didn't like Michael Weston. Burn Notice is a show. You know what I mean? But I don't think
if I actually had to describe the captain in two TV characters, it would be a mix between Michael Weston and Tech Jensen, an old Stephen Colbert cartoon.
I am probably just doing Tech Jazz in the old Stephen Colbert cartoon.
That no one's ever seen, but it's great. You should check it.
But I will say the actual the reason I picked this episode for two moments, right? It's the one that obviously Ryan picked up on right away, which is, but I'm not sure you picked up the exact moment. The exact moment was the moment when they're after they leave the house when the guys told him, and Sam, his friend's like, Mike, why are you doing this? And he's like, I'm running on fumes, and this is like all I got. I know I can do this. I can help this guy. I don't know what he's like. I don't know what I can do about all this crazy spy crap, but like I can do this one thing. So this is the thing I'm going to do, right? And like,
I literally like it's like we're having our morning conversation in the car, Mike. This is literally how you talk to me.
And so literally. So then the next moment, I'd like to point out in the way we are our characters and what character references. As we are caricatures turned into the Captain and Mr. Green, one of them as references as real characters in fiction. Like the moment when the two push-ins between him and Sam, that one, and then at the towards the end when they're fighting, and when he's like, I'm just gonna go find Carla and get the money, and he's like, You don't want to do that. You don't want to work for these people. It's like I don't know what else to do, and it's like Sam and him knowing each other well enough that like. Sam is Michael fighting himself in that moment because they're such boys, right? Like, and there are other times later when the same thing happens back and forth where like
I know
Sam
you
want to
build up to this exact scene. It's crazy. You want to recreate this scene on The Economy of Nothing. I'm happy to have watched it, and this was my one bird notice.
I just assume every episode is every episode of The Economy of Nothing
is an episode of Burn Notice.
A little bit of Burn Notice.
I would like to point out the last 10 years of media are like entirely Burn Notice. Okay,
they're not.
I was.
This
watching,
is an affront to our viewers.
I was watching Daredevil Born Again, and I'm watching this one episode, and I was like, this is actually just 3 episodes of Burn Notice pushed together.
You make me sick to make this comparison.
Yeah, but just like the Dr. Kelso reference in the Doctor, there was a show before this.
Yeah,
you know what? There wasn't a show before? Moses. That's why I started. That's why mine has the most bite. Moses is one of the fucking OGs. Let's keep that in mind.
I have one other thing to bring up, Ryan, because you mentioned it in a way that I'm like, I think in this part of the show they've just like reset Fiona and Michael's like relationship. Because I think like whatever
Fiona
they
is
were
his
doing,
girlfriend or his handler girlfriend.
So in the previous like season and a half, it's like what is happening. So and like she was like dating someone else, so they broke it off, and now they're like, okay,
literally, who is it
officially? What do you mean?
Who is Fiona? It's his actual girlfriend, or
In this episode, it's his ex-girlfriend. They met when he was undercover.
But
in Ireland.
It's the girl like helping him the whole time. Or not like his handler who's trying to like get him killed.
Yeah, no, that's Carla. Okay. Carla. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Were you not paying attention?
Literally was asking. I paid
this
attention.
lowbrow stuff that must be so simple for you. You must have
gave it the attention.
So
I gave it the attention it deserved. How about that? No, okay, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, in this version, she convinced her ex-boyfriend to like ride an ambulance around and like or make an ambulance noise, I guess. I couldn't tell if he was like an actual like first responder.
Yes. So this is sorry, so I said that wrong. Yeah. In the next episode, they end that and they just go, "Oh, they're exes and they used to date." Because it's very confusing in this episode. What the hell are we doing here?
Well, her
it's
her
a
ex
moment of
does
a show
say
resetting
that.
a thing that's not working.
Yes, and absolutely. Her ex says like, "Your real boyfriend is the main character."
The
writers,
the writers just wrote, "Excuse me, your boyfriend's the main character." It is crazy for us to think this 3-character ensemble cast is just going to have a boyfriend over there sometimes. Right?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I do think, though, that your point about, like, him fighting himself, I do think that scene really stood out because I think that that's, like, a dynamic that I find very compelling is how can you get 2 characters who are super close to each other? Like, in my version, it's siblings. How do you get them who, like, love each other and care about each other and support each other? How do you get them to, like, fight for real? And in this show, they do... I don't know if it's, like, super effective because I haven't seen the build-up, but I was like, oh... Our main character is like beating this guy's ass, his best friend's ass, for like a reason, and they get into like a serious fight. I mean, they don't kill each other, but
but I mean, I think that's that's some of the stuff that this show does very well is like the interpersonal stuff, the stuff that works like good. They are able to maintain these characters and have them like take these different sides on issues and still work together and stuff, but without having it until much until like the later seasons. It doesn't feel so forced at first, right? They come up with reasons that his ex-girlfriend wants to help. Oh, it's a kid in this episode, so that kind of stuff. I think.
Yeah.
This brings up a good point. Michael Weston throughout the show of Burn Notice, as anyone that is a Burn Notice fan knows that his favorite food is yogurt. I think blueberry yogurt to be specific.
Okay.
And as Mr. Green has had a bunch of items and same with Cheyenne, I don't think the captain has any items. I think the captain needs to have a favorite item, like maybe a blueberry yogurt or that equivalent.
Okay. So let's go. I'm gonna
Good
think
point.
in my head right now what the captain has as his equipment. He has a space helmet. He has his arm gauntlet communicator thing, and he has his space boots, and he has a utility belt that has stuff in it. I don't know what kind of stuff. I don't know what the captain would have in him. That's a good question. I have always
See,
thought
I
of him as
think
like
the captain
using the
is
stuff
pretty-
that's around in a fight, so I haven't thought of him
Yeah.
like carrying things yet, I guess.
So that's why I say if the captain isn't using stuff in a fight because he relies on Green and sometimes Cheyenne to have all that stuff because he wants to seem to be always the Michael Weston of the group, if you will. It he then he needs to be doing something like eating yogurt at times. Like he has to have a favorite thing. Like just like Archer, like it's always drinking scotch, or just like
Yeah.
Homer's always eating.
He needs some
You gotta
sort
have
he
a
needs some
thing.
sort of tick or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have a thing.
But I think that it makes a lot of gives a lot of narrative exploration opportunity because I mean I don't know what Mr. Green's will turn out to be in of his trinkets, but the idea I pitched just earlier of oh, imagine if he has a bunch of trinkets and then eventually if he's working on these sponsorship deals and one of the nephews gets involved in one of the sponsorship deals and then the nephew starts his own trinket collection, but it's a sponsored trinket or something. Maybe Mr. Green would be oh, this has gone too far, some kind of character development moment. Maybe it's for him, maybe it's for the nephews of his influence that he's having. So yeah, I think having some kind of weird tick thing like that could make sense, and it could be in conflict with Mr. Green's sponsor. You could imagine Mr. Green swapping out a sponsored version of a cigar that he likes to have after the end of every mission, and it's what the fuck is this?
I mean, if you think about
Of what does
the
this say about
captain
the
more as a spy in space than just Michael Weston, right? I am thinking about he would have gadgets, right? He would have James Bond-esque gadgets. He would have a tie clip that he could also pick handcuffs with or something, which is the lamest.
That's the lamest thing I've ever heard.
But the captain has been accused of being a lame character,
All right, sure.
The proof is in the pudding.
Also, from a practical standpoint, if I give the captain a tie pin, then I don't have to animate his whole tie flapping all the time.
There you go.
So now I've given myself 2 reasons, Mike. So have to have 2 reasons why it's stupid.
No, actually, I think for your character, having a little thing that can lockpick would be on par with getting us out of some dumb situations.
Yeah, I think the captain is the captain would much rather since the captain knows he can win a fight, he would rather avoid it, right? Basically, right?
Yeah, and then I think, oh man, I really think something that you're always doing is vaping, but I don't think you want to have him vaping on the show.
No, and I also would say I'm always vaping on this show. I'm always vaping.
Yeah,
but
there's got to be something like cheese balls, you're always eating cheese balls, or there's got to be. What's your favorite snack, man?
I don't know.
That.
No, but this will be homework for me this week. I will think of a thing for the cat. The captain he needs more personality, I guess.
Right. And gadget wise, it's hard to think of minimal.
Well, part of the problem of the captain as my caricature and then trying to put him back on me is that I put so much of myself into the show already. It's no, he's kind of just, if he's me, he's the most boring thing in this show, right? Because everything creative I'm doing is the other stuff. Do you know what I mean? He's a spaceman in a business suit and a helmet because it gets the job done. You know what I mean? They told him he had to wear a suit, but it's space, so he's you don't have to wear a spacesuit. So he's like, oh, he got a suit, but he doesn't trust it, so he wears a helmet or something. Like, you know, like, and then like he goes to work.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that it should be rooted in his origin at some point. Like, I think it should either be something that he
But
brought with
like the
him from
truck's
home.
his, the dog's his, the nephews are his, like everything. Like
That is
everyone else
crazy
is,
to say.
like Green's too material, right? Green needs all this stuff. The captain's like, what do you mean? I'm the captain of the moonshine, and we fly around space. It's my truck.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but that's like
I don't have my
boring
dog
and or
anymore, which is
non-character developy. That's why I think that this makes a good point. Where it's like I think it should be either something he just had in his truck, like something one would find in a truck that he got transported with, or I think it could be like just a paper clip. I think like if he used instead of a tie clip like a paper clip, and then he just like does magical shit with his paper clip, kind of like the Doctor Who's sonic screwdriver. He just like has a stick that can do any.
Bro,
like honestly, can do anything.
he has
It's
the
in
audio
space. He's
right.
not gonna rock a fucking paperclip. He's not gonna rock a paperclip. That's
I think that
like I
makes
get
so
what you're
much
trying to
sense.
do, but
It's so
like, it's
genius.
too off aesthetic. We're in space. Like I agree, have a stupid type in, but
No, a paperclip is so genius because, like, just
a
imagine.
wrench?
No, okay. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking like everyone's
I
stuck
already
in
have a video of him
handcuffs.
throwing a wrench.
Like let's say the other main characters are all stuck in handcuffs or they're locked in some room, whatever. And then like the captain just like is at the door, and you animate nothing. You just have a paperclip, and then he pulls the paperclip back out, and he's like, "Okay, guys, we're good. We're free." Like if he just like gets out of every situation in like the most stupid ass way, but it like does work. That's basically the sonic screwdriver. You can do whatever you want as the object. How about that?
Yeah. I think
how about that?
But it should be
like,
something but it needs to be something terrestrial or something from his robo-human days or something from the beach. Those are my categories for you to consider. Like it needs to be something where he's like a little umbrella. Like a little cocktail umbrella that he just like has in his pocket instead of a pocket square. He has a cocktail umbrella and it's like a toothpick.
But if we go back to Michael
Weston,
he had like he's not eating yogurts all the time. Like it's just like yes, the captain needs more quirks, but like Michael Weston just shows up. He wears sunglasses and like stuff. Like everyone's just wearing clothes.
But I have to stop you because I've seen one episode. I have seen one episode of Burn Notice. I didn't know yogurt was a thing, but now that Mike Allen has brought up that yogurt is a thing. When Mike Weston,
where of course yogurt came up.
When Mike Weston is a thing, at the end of the episode, this woman is in his apartment. This woman is in his apartment. A woman who has like stuffed him in a car multiple times throughout this episode and kidnapped him. And she's in his apartment eating yogurt, and she says, "I've helped myself to some of your yogurt. I'm sure that's not a problem, is it?" And she's like flirting with him. And then he walks over.
That show all the time. They're eating yogurt all the time, and the fact that
I know, but it's not like the way that like Brad Pitt eats on screen all the time.
But he walks over and he takes the yogurt from her and they share it, and I'm like, oh, they're flirting.
Yeah, they definitely bang. I think that goes without saying. And
but it goes without. Okay, we say it goes without saying, but also
needs a yogurt. Okay, he needs the equivalent. Of
I agree because it goes without saying, and they said it with their visual language or like narrative structure of the yogurt.
Yeah,
so I think that is useful.
I just wanted a yogurt.
We're agreeing.
That's all I wanted.
Okay,
to give the man.
I know. Didn't I say? I said I'm going to think about this all week. I'm going to think about.
I don't think we have to think about it all week. I think everyone could comment. I said I would. Below. Everyone could comment in the comments below because they already know. Everyone who wants Gogurt.
Nothing@gmail.com.
Everyone who knows that this object should be Gogurt, the hit snack from 1997, please comment below.
Okay, how about Uncrustables? How about like
Uncrustables is great.
I bring Uncrustables to the beach. I started bringing them when my nephews came to visit, and I was like,
and it makes sense why you would still carry them. and it would make sense why you'd still carry them.
Yeah, you're in space. You just keep it with you. It's in your suit. It'll be good to eat when
you. Dude, that's what you have. You have a cooler in the back of the truck at all times, just filled with Uncrustables.
Well, I think it could just be like
grape and strawberry jelly.
I think that you don't need a cooler because the vacuum of space is so cold. I think you need a toaster. in the CD compartment could be converted to a toaster, so you pop in an Uncrustable and you're just eating an Uncrustable as you go through. And it makes so much sense for the captain too, because it's like people just eat around the crust. He's like, just get rid of it.
And it would be our first sponsor on the bottom of the car.
Oh my god, Uncrustables, Uncrustables.
And Mike
please
Allen
hit us
knows
up.
them, and we're gonna go.
This is
You got to, some people at Smuckers. But
a successful
no,
review of
that's
all of
very
our
good.
media pieces.
I thought that was I really liked that. I don't know how you guys felt about it. But I enjoyed our
pretty genius.
You're feeling great.
Our first content club. economyofnothing@gmail.com if anyone else would like to leave their comments. I guess the thing we should figure out is what are we going to do next week? That's what we're going to do with the rest of the podcast, so that we don't at the beginning of the next podcast try to figure out what we're going to do. Seems like a good idea. And then we could tell everyone, and then maybe they could send ideas and stuff, right?
Okay, so you want another episode of something?
You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna meet here next week.
Yes.
And we're gonna have to talk about something.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about other pieces of media? Do we want to do this again? Do we want what do we want to talk about?
I think we could do one.
Another
It should be a
episode of the
segment.
show?
It
What
should
would
be a
we like to
segment.
do next?
The media
Okay.
piece should just be a segment. So Mike Allen, if you have something kicking around, then hit us with it.
Okay.
Oh, did you not?
I think
okay.
I think
it felt
the
like when you
the
said that, I thought you were like about to suggest like, oh, I have just the thing. But yeah, I think we should watch one episode of something or whatever. A music video again.
Just so that there's like a thing to start the next episode with, and it's going to be the craziest pick of all time, and someone picks something else. If not, you check down the link below. I'll link it. It's a YouTube video of someone animated of the giant bomb cast from like 8 years ago, of Austin Walker reading a review of Stellaris. It's like 4 minutes long. We'll watch it. We'll talk about it for a minute because we're animating a podcast. It's relevant to what we're doing. And then we'll go from there. Does that sound like a thing we can do?
Yeah.
Mike, I love it.
Okay.
As he turns his head, no. I love it.
I know. I'm thinking about
love
animating. I was thinking about trying to animate some head turns this week. So maybe we'll do that. Anyway. Well, if anyone would like to say anything else about the Prince of Egypt.
The outro music should be Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera.
That's copyrighted, Mike. I cannot make that the outro.
You gotta rub me the right way.
Guys, stop playing your personal MP3s right now.
If you wanna be with me, baby.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for joining us. This has been the Economy of Nothing podcast. Thank you for joining me, Mike Allen. Thank you for joining me, Ryan McDonald.
Economy of nothing.
Economy of Nothing.
Thank you, everyone. EconomyOfNothing.com, Patreon.com/TheEconomyOfNothing. EconomyOfNothing@gmail.com is the email address. EconomyOfNothing@gmail.com is the email address. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Wow. You can hold your breath for a really long time. I guess that's how the missus got so pleased. You sick freak.